Welcome everyone to today's webinar and jumping in talking about running meta ads in 2025, everything that has changed. And for this, I want to introduce Andrew, who's the co-founder of AdCrunch and runs not just digital ads, but a digital agency to help really drive sales and conversions for CPG brands. And Andrew, welcome on up. We're going to be talking through both the strategy that's in framework that he and his team have developed to really drive sales for brands, and then also walk through some very specific examples that you can do right now to increase your conversions. Andrew, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hey, I'm Andrew. So I'm one of the co-founders of AdCrunch. We're a boutique digital marketing agency, and we basically work on three things. And these are very important when it comes to paid ads: landing pages, so the copy on the landing pages, the offer, which is the incentive to buy now, and then obviously the ads, right? You got to get people to the site effectively. And I'm glad there's only like four of us. That means we can like have a real conversation. So I can ask you guys questions and we can hopefully solve some of your problems. But yeah, I'll talk for about like 10 minutes. I'm just going to show some examples of landing pages. I genuinely think that's the best place to start because it doesn't matter what strategy you use. Your landing page is always the most valuable thing, because you could take a winning landing page on ads and use it for affiliate or in person or whatever, right? Like, so the idea is kind of we're going to start with the most applicable thing, and then we can start to talk a little bit about ads. So, all right. And then I'll share my screen. Okay. I'm going to drop this landing page in the chat too, but this is like, here it is. Okay. But this is basically what I would call like a caveman like e-com page. So it's very, very simple. When people hit your landing page, they want to know three things. So is this for me? Will it work for me? And what's the price, right? And so if you build your landing page around those three things, you're going to win. Also, we're viewing it on mobile because most people will hit your landing page on mobile. So that's a tip. Like when you develop anything, develop it for mobile first. Don't do desktop first unless you're some B2B company or whatever. And then I'll break the top of this page down here. So we're going to have like, this was our top converting hook on Facebook. So we just took the top converting hook and put it on the landing page. And same thing here, it's just going to hook the person into reading the rest of the page. And then this was also some really high converting subtext that we had on Facebook. Then we have some immediate like social proof. And then this is really where the magic happens. Like it's a build your own bundle, and the tool's called Koala Bundles, but it's pretty easy to actually use and implement. This merchant started with an AOV of like average order value of $18, and we were able to push their value to around $70 after we did this. So this is a huge increase, and it changed the way they were able to spend. So they were only spending around like $300 to $400 a day before this, and now they're spending, on some months we're spending anywhere from like $4,000 to $5,000 a day. So it's quite a big increase profitably too.
And Andrew, I
And
love that
then
you mentioned this part because I think while we're talking about meta ads as kind of a broad topic, it's so important to know that how you actually build your offer and landing page really determine the success before you
yeah,
even get into driving ads, right? As you mentioned, like this brand had a much lower price per unit, and based on that, they would have been unprofitable driving ads. And it's like, how can we run ads and we're going to be losing money? But by creating this type of offer, price increase on here and bundle, they're actually able to run ads later down the line at a much more, break even or profitable rate where it actually makes sense.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like they were losing money when we first started. Like they were at a 0.6 ROAS, and now a lot of times we're above a 2 just from the offer. Like an offer can actually change, it can really change your entire business. And I'll explain this real quick. So they started out at an $18 price point. We actually pushed their price up a lot, and we incentivize the buy four, right? These are about $22 each. So we actually still have more margin on the four now when people make this bigger purchase than we did on just the one initially. And so displaying your price in this manner, and you'll want to really anchor hard with this first one. I see a lot of people discount all of these tiers. Like, don't do that. Your goal is not to get somebody to buy just one of your product. It's to get them to buy a large amount of it at once. So that's the idea here. And then also this is really amazing with koala bundles, because I know a lot of you, like, the traditional thought is like add your bestsellers to a bundle. Well, it's like, okay, what if you have three bestsellers in a bundle and only 60% of the people who hit the page want that, right? Well, make a bundle where they can just choose. So if I want two of their spicy mild flavors, one pure and one zesty garlic, well, I get that choice. And that makes it applicable to 100% of your traffic, right? If they're able to choose like what they want. Right now, it's applicable to everybody who's seen this page. And then you don't have to use the timer. We find that it creates like anxiety when it comes to paid. I'll call that out too. We don't put the timer on the organic site. I know a lot of people don't like that, but on paid, we like to use it because it's just like, it just makes them feel like they have to do something. So, and then the last thing here, yeah, you really want your price and your add to cart button to stick out. So you make it big, make it red, like make sure people can see it really easily. And then also we call this hidden content, but instead of, a lot of people try to put their description up here, and that like, that's okay. But a lot of times, like if you're running an ad or an affiliate says something, if your description doesn't match what's being said, then it's not relevant and it can actually make somebody not buy your product. So we like to put more information below the add to cart. That way people who are coming in from an affiliate or coming in from an ad or wherever else you're driving traffic from, they only see kind of this quick snippet up here, and then it's really easy for them to buy. Or you
Andrew,
can have it,
question
oh, go ahead.
in here. Are these just product pages that have bundles? Like, would this just be a normal product page, or is this
Yep.
specifically for landing pages for like paid traffic?
No, it's okay. So there's two. A lot of times we'd have, this is a landing page for paid traffic. And that's another thing too, like that we'll like to do. We used to do it on this with this merchant, but we've kind of changed our strategy with them. But a lot of times we'll have a higher price on on the actual paid landing page so that they can click back to the site and see a lower price. So that actually can increase your conversion rate on the organic side as well. But yeah, this is just a PDP. This is not indexed on the site. You can only find this through an ad. So that's
Okay.
another. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
No, I just said that's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like, remember, like your organic traffic, like should your organic traffic page should look different than your cold traffic page, because organic already knows you and trusts you. Like, we don't have any subscribe and save on this page, but he has it on his organic page. We don't have anything about, like, there's no long-term commitments, right? It's just like kind of like buy now or get out, and that's what you want to do with cold. So, and then, sorry, I haven't clicked on this yet, but we really like hidden content too, just for, because you have skimmers and diggers. So you have people who just like literally skim the site and then they make a buying decision. That would be me. I just like skim things and I'm like, okay, looks good enough. I'm going to try it. And then you have diggers, like these are going to be like longer term decision makers. They want to learn about it. So you want to make a site that kind of works for both, but using hidden content is like a great way to do that, right? So it's just like, you know, see flavors and ingredients. This is going to be something for a digger who really wants to know more about the flavors and ingredients and nutritional value. And anything can be here. Like you could have a versus chart pop up. That's something you want to test, right? Is like, is it better to have this pop up or like a versus chart of like me versus my competitors? So, and then, oh, the other important thing about this is if you're just like, what people are doing when they're buying is they're just comparing different things in their head. Like if you're like, do I want a, Louis Vuitton bag or do I want a, Coach bag, right? They're looking at price, they're looking at style, they're just doing a bunch of comparison in their head. And the less comparison you can get them to do in their head, the faster of a purchase they're going to make. So with the pricing as well, if you have an offer on your site, they're going to stop comparing your pricing to your competitor who does not have an offer. They're going to start comparing your pricing within the different product. Because when I hit this page, I'm not thinking like, okay, Pluck is 39 and how much is, Heart and Soil and how much are these like, gummy vitamins or whatever, right? I'm like, okay, well, I can get one for 39, I can get two for 74, I can get four for 88. Now kind of the thought process is like, what's the best deal? Do I want four? Do I want two? And even if you want to like, even if you wanted to say what it is further, like you could even say get four flavors for families of five, right? Pick two flavors for families of three, right? You could say something like that on here to even help them make that decision faster. And then what else? Yeah, there's just, I mean, the rest of this stuff. I mean, if you guys could have just copy and paste this and then paste your data into ChatGPT and just have ChatGPT redo it if you want to do that. But we like adding FAQs, obviously just having some benefit, like just these call outs, like if you know why people are buying your product, it's good to have them on the page, but don't write like a paragraph of it. Like if it takes more than like 15 seconds to read what you have, the person's not reading it. So that's another thing. Social proof showing how it's used is great. And then this is really important content too, is like just show how you stack up. I'm sure you've seen this before, like you versus a competitor. You can create this based on any metric. It could be your worst competitor, right? It could be like obviously seasonings don't have any like, nutritional value. So we decided to compare it to seasonings because that's what most people are using. So
And I think what's
um
important about that too, right? Like it's not comparing even this directly against like direct supplement or
yeah.
substitutes, but it's comparing to what the average person's using.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not because you don't, yeah. If you can compare it to other things, then they might think like, oh, this is a better substitute than just using Old Bay or salt or Lorry's. It's actually good for me. So I have a little bit of social proof and then basically down to reviews. So, and then I'll stop there before I keep going. Do you have any like
Eli has one
questions?
question. Are there downsides to using variants on Shopify instead of using something like Koala?
So Koala, you'll have to create the product with a bunch of variants. So like if we looked in the back end of his website, it would be one product with everything that we want in the bundle. You probably, I don't know how many products you have, but you wouldn't really be able to do this for something with like 100 products. So you might want to just be like create your whatever bundle and then you make the product with the variants. But this is going to be a separate product from like the product that's actually on the site. So it's a duplicate.
Yeah, and I like that basically it's enabling people to build their own bundle and they can do everything without having kind of to leave this page versus like click to another
Yeah.
product page where then they're selecting other options. They can just kind of pick everything, build it here, and add to cart or buy directly.
Exactly. Yeah, this is like you don't have to like the less clicks somebody has to take to buy your product, your conversion rate's going to go up as well. So,
Awesome. I
uh,
love that. So, Andrew, what does it take to kind of get to a page like this? Because this has been like pretty dialed in for this brand, but I'd love for you to walk through the process of one, kind of even think about the headline at the top of like nature's superfood, now a seasoning, how you get that, and then how you from there, how we test different landing page designs. Oh, Jan, you have a
yeah.
question?
All right,
Sure.
is this their actual website or is this
Yes.
the landing page?
This landing page is a part of their website, but it's de-indexed. You're not able to access it from the website at all.
Okay.
And you can once you have a proven landing page, I would recommend taking it and then pushing it to your website. This merchant specifically wanted to keep their organic page, but like once you have like the easiest way to test landing pages is to test it in ads. So the old way is like, I'm going to take a month. I'm going to do an A/B test and I'm going to figure out if this landing page is, good or not. And the new way is basically like, I'm going to spend $500 on ads. I'm going to see what my traffic does. And if it converts, I'm going to start to optimize the page. If it doesn't convert, then I scrap it and try a new one or a new offer or a new headline or new whatever. Right.
So the link that you sent us or put in the chat, was that their landing page link or their actual website link?
That's the landing page link.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, because it looked like it was a full website.
It is. So, right, if I click on this, it's going to go back to the website.
The difference is just, Jan, that people cannot, if they start on the website, they can't get to this page.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can
You
only
can't.
get to this page if they click from the ad, just because the link's hidden. If they typed it in
Yeah.
manually, they'd be able to get there, but they wouldn't know what to type.
I see. I'm completely new to all of this, so just FYI.
So here's one thing I think that helps as a good call out. A lot of people, when they build websites, and I've been guilty of this too, essentially you think like, what would I want to put on the website as the brand owner that people would make people buy? And you think about that like internally, maybe for a little bit of customer feedback, and then you like build the page, and then that's it. right? Like you don't really go back and change it. And what Andrew is advocating for is that you should be constantly testing new copy, new writing, new images, new offers, like, weekly, monthly to change that. And then the ones that perform the best and are outperforming, then you can make some of those changes and adjustments to your standard website and the product pages once you
Yeah.
learn by customer behavior.
hmm
Okay.
So Andrew, I think that's a good part. Do you want to talk through like how you even came up with the nature's superfood now as seasoning? Because I think that's good in understanding like how to listen to customers.
Yeah, definitely. And then Kay, I think did you have a
Kay,
question
do you want to jump
first?
in now?
Yeah, really quickly. So essentially the landing page is basically you don't connect with your navigation menu, right? When you said it wouldn't index, but Google would index anyway.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not
Is
using.
that? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
okay. I'm not trying to find out, but in my head, that was what I was thinking. Like your ad would bring this to the page. So my thought would be where you price the one, it still should match to the one on your website because, right, like the one pack, whatever your $38 should still match your product page.
You can. So we do a lot of like weird things with pricing. I know this is not like a specific answer. And also just to talk about the Google thing, this page is not de-indexed from Google. You can de-index it if you want. I was just saying it's like de-indexed from the website. Like you can't hit it from the
Right.
nav menu. So you're spot on, Kay. And then the other question was the pricing. So we do weird things with pricing. We'll try saying the price in an ad. Like we might even just try saying a ridiculous price, like now only $99, and then they hit the page and it's $39. People think that's a mistake sometimes, and so it'll increase conversion rate. Sometimes we use a higher pricing on this page, and then people will click back to the site, they see a lower pricing, they might just buy one. Sometimes we use a lower pricing on this page, and then the site pricing, because people hit the site, they see that the site price is higher, and then they're like, oh crap, backspace. They try and get back to the page. So you're like, we don't really have like, I know it like logically makes sense to have the pricing the same, but like I'll tell you, like it's very like out of the box the way that people actually kind of think about things. And so a lot of this we've done, like we've spent a lot of money on ads. We've probably spent over $100 million at this point, and we found like, yeah, playing with these pricing in this like push pull kind of way works a lot better than having everything just same. So
Can I ask one additional question? So did you guys also like experiment with like a free product, like buy this and then this buy, not almost like BOGO, but you would give a smaller priced item as a free?
So
Would
like a
that
free
work?
gift.
yeah, so only with a subscription. Usually we do like $7 for the first month to like try it out. And then, but yeah, like free, I don't know, like I've tried that and it just kind of doesn't, like basically the build your own bundle thing works. Like we tried that with them. This works a lot better than the free product, because the free product you're giving it away and you're spending money on it and you're shipping it. And it's just like, and then you have to have a remarketing strategy for those people and an email strategy. So unless you can build all that out, I don't really see it working very well. On the flip side of that, it works great if you can build out your email strategy, your remarketing ads, like how you're going to hit them on Google and Pinterest and wherever else they're on. And then you also do have to build that audience up too, right? So you need to get one to probably on the low end 1,000. A good chunk of people would be 5,000 people to buy that or to get that free product to really get your numbers straight, right? You need like a statistically significant audience. So I think the free thing is great as a test for the brand if you already have a lot of money and you can kind of weather that storm. But on 1,000 orders, if you're paying shipping and you're doing product and you're spending on ads, I mean, you're probably looking at a $15,000-$20,000 investment just to figure out if it works. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then this basically does, because the real problem that you're solving, like the free problem lets them try the product, but the real problem you're solving is just letting them try the product, and a lot of it, right? Because it's like if I get a hot sauce online, I want to try all the flavors, and so this basically solves that problem for them without having to go the free route, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Sounds good, Andrew.
And then, yeah, we can get into, okay, so how do we get this language? So actually, let's just do this with somebody's like brand. Can somebody drop like a link in the absurd snack? Okay, so I have K Curry's and then absurd snacks. So I'll show you how I initially get this language. It's actually really simple. See. Oh, you have a build your own bundle too. That's fun. Okay, yeah, you could.
Yeah,
okay, cool. So you kind of have this. Yeah.
So the reason I had this is I've experimented, no ads, but basically I would give bundles on like say chicken biryani, and the people who love chicken biryani, they would buy 5, 10 at a time and they're not coming back. So I
Yeah.
removed the individual product bundles, and then I did this. And actually, my average order value increased since I did this, because now they're like, well, I could get mix and match, and then I still get a discount. So that has worked for me.
Okay, cool. We have like some proof right here. I love it. Yeah, that's amazing. And then I'm just trying to see if you have like do you have anywhere like an about section about this product?
Yeah, you could pick that vegetable biryani. Just click on shop now where the vegetable biryani, like if on the image, there should be a shop now.
Okay, got it. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah. This is great. All right, I'm just opening all of this up because we're going to take all of this. Okay, I'll take the reviews too. So basically this used to be really hard to do, but the easy way to do this is just to go to ChatGPT, and then I have a prompt that has it spit out. Let me see. I might have to actually redo this, but let's do it with this one. Okay, this is for incontinence brand, which is way far away from what you guys are doing, but well, okay, cool. Let's save this. So basically the prompt is like, can you write 5 hooks to each of these 10 categories? So you want to tell it what categories you want. It'll know what the categories mean. And then you'll just give it, you'll give it your brand information based on and like the really important part when writing hooks is you want to start at like the apotheosis or like the climax of everything. So you really want to like try and tell a mini story through your hook, if that makes sense, because that's what's hooking people in, right? You want to kind of enthrall them like immediately, right? That's what like the hook is. And so more flavors, this takes it. It's making comparison, more flavors than takeout, less sodium than a can of soup, equal parts bold and balanced. A $9.99 over disappointing DoorDash biryani. And then what I have it do, see, this is like a little story. You forgot dinner, your kids are hungry, your fridge is empty. It's like, and you want to add on to these too. You don't just want to like copy and paste, make it make sense for your brand, right? It's like, what do you do? Or thank goodness I just remember I had these in my pantry, right? And then let's go to, what's the other thing? The second prompt. It's like pretty straightforward. And you could tell it to write like certain people too, if you like certain copywriters, but I just find that it works pretty well if I just give it these things. So these 2 prompts, and then I just say, great, can you rewrite these and make them more intense? The hooks need to generate intrigue and they need to start at the basically climax of the problem the consumer is experiencing to really hook them in. I still need you to use the same framework. There should be 50 hooks in total, 5 for each, 10 for the categories I gave you. But yeah, just remember this is kind of, you're starving, exhausted, and don't know what's for dinner. This one part biryani saves the night in 20 minutes. Like, that's a fun hook, right? Like, so that's kind of where you're getting this is kind of where, as long as you have content already that you've written out, this is a really easy way to do this. If you have not written out any content, you can go use a competitor's content. And I would recommend doing this with your content and your competitor's content to see what you get back.
So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your GPT public?
Yeah, this is just the regular ChatGPT. So this isn't even anything. It's just 2 prompts. It's pretty straightforward. And then the other thing, which I can put this in the chat too, but that's where I got this. We generally find hey, these kinds of hooks work well. Can you make these style of hooks? And then here like some more. So you can tell it these are all just ideas. You could do it with anything, any kind of pattern that you see on TikTok or on Instagram or whatever. You're just kind of looking for overarching patterns, and you can take that and tell it to write a hook in that manner. And so
I'm just reading through this. These are so much fun. I should use some of this on on socials and stuff. These are so fun.
There's a lot. I think that's a great way too. A lot of times people use these on social organically and then see which one get the most interest and then try, because if you're 50, how do I run all 50? You can start with those on organic and then take the best ones that people like and comment on, and
which ones are getting more CTRs and
put it on your website.
Exactly. And then you can tell it so these are more, should I cop it? It's basically insurance for every what's for dinner meltdown. That's kind of fun. But you can tell it too, because you're going to have certain people that buy, for me, I work a lot, so I'm oh, this would be you could tell it to write to the workaholic or write to the CEO that's working long hours and loves Indian food, right? And it's going to start to incorporate those type of people into these hooks, if that makes sense. And that's where you're going to get more scale once you start incorporating specific types of, maybe it's the mom, right, with a bunch with kids who is always buying fast food for them, and this is a better option, right? So, but you guys will know your ICP. Yeah, here, it did it with this one. My daughter's, right? Maybe it's the person who has allergies, right?
Yeah,
you
you
know,
picked the
so
camping one, you picked the allergen one. Those are our top value propositions. It's cool.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I could put this in the chat so you guys all have it so you can kind of see what's going on. But the biggest thing is like if you don't have the content, take your competitor's content. And then also after you have these hooks, ask it to write to a specific kind of person. That's going to help too.
Right.
So like, yeah, it's just loading. I think it's still trying to finish writing.
Thank you, Andrew. This is so much fun. I unfortunately have to drop, but I'm gonna wait for the link and then. But thank you
Yeah.
so much. I think you also did like a startup CPG one a long time ago. I can't remember. I feel like, or I have watched the recording. That was super useful too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done a couple of different webinars for different people. Yeah.
Andrew, this is awesome. I love how you can go through and like find all these hooks and then be able to test them on product pages and ads, right? To see which ones actually people respond to and are clicking to your site, and then from there, which ones they're buying from. And then this way, I mean, talk a lot too about like making sure that the ad copy then is like matching the landing page so that people understand what they're like that continuity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, I don't know if she's still on. Just real quick before you go, make sure if you're talking about allergies and the hook, make sure your landing page is talking about allergies too. Like you need like, and it's not that hard to do. You just duplicate that page and you just change the top of the page to just say like, great for people with allergies. It's very simple. So just changing this wording up here, basically.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. This is helpful.
Good.
I feel so bad. I have to go.
Thanks, Kay.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye.
All right, Andrew. I think this is great. Should we look at different ways of testing out landing page designs as well, kind of once we get this foundation?
Yeah, let me see. Sorry, my computer just froze. I'm trying to share this Google Docs so you guys can see all the like hook ideas. Here we go.
And we'll share these links out in the show notes as well.
Here we go. Okay. That should be it. So you have that GPT and you have the doc, and then yeah. So how would you test this? So let's see. Let's go to Jordan's account. Here we go. Okay, so for food bevy, we did this.
So I think some of you know I've been working with Andrew and his team for Joyful Co. in our gift boxes. So we do curated gift boxes on that side of the business, and working with him and his team to design ads for Mother's Day, which is one of our big gifting occasions throughout the year.
And then we can see, so basically like what this does, so this is really crazy. So you can see like, first we run these hooks. It's just the hook and the same image. So you can see these are all the same like images in a click-through rate campaign on Meta. And basically what that does is it'll tell you what hook the person is most likely to click on. And the reason that's important is because instead of testing all 50 hooks, you just test your top 10. So it's instead of spending $5,000 at $100 each in a conversion campaign, you could do it in a hook test campaign and get back what we call an engagement metric or the click-through rate. And you can see like click-through rate is anywhere from 13% down to 1%, right? I don't even think this one got any. Well, no, it didn't serve. But yeah, so you can see like the click-through rate changes dramatically based on like what hook you're using. So it's like it's gonna be, let's see what this one is. Like our poorest performing hook, one we wouldn't want to run, is turns out the perfect Mother's Day gift does exist, and I found it, right? So that was like not that intriguing to people. But then this one, which is bought my mom this gift because it's actually useful, not just another thing to collect dust. That's like hitting on an actual pain point, right? And you can see like a less general, more specific piece of copy is going to have a much higher chance of winning. So, but yeah, the reason you do it this way is because effectively like the idea here is, well, if they're not even going to click on this, right? If like barely anyone's going to click on this, then nobody's going to purchase it, right? Whereas like if a lot of people are going to click on this, you have way more chances to actually get a purchase, right? If your click-through rate is high. So that's the idea here. And that's why we do this first. And then we would just take the top 10 and then push them to a conversion campaign. And let me show you, there's a good like example of that thinking here. So yeah, so what that looks like is like, you can see here, like this merchant had a high AOV, but same thing. All we've done is just change the hooks, and then it's gotten everywhere from a 4.65 ROAS down to a 2.22 ROAS, right? So this is just from changing a hook, basically. And then to expand on this, like, let's say this is like your top performing hook. Actually, we could do it with Jordan's. Let's do that. and you can test different lengths of copy. So, right, like, because this is just a hook. If you want to make longer form, like we'd recommend testing like short, just the hook, medium copy with benefits, and then like long form copy. So can you create 5 pieces of long form copy based off of this hook, right? And then it might get confused because we were using her, like, yeah, it'll say tone, like it'll tell you the tone. And so you could just kind of take this. I would take out anything that says product name. But you can basically take this and like she could use and enjoy. Yeah, you'll have to edit it, but like you could take this right part and you might have to rewrite some of it, but it's going to give you different tones. You could tell it to like create emotion to like if you want to write like to someone who has fear of giving their mother a gift on Mother's Day, like you can do that as well, right? And like we can see like this is a decent one. This is more emotional. It's just something generic. It's not going, it's useful. That's her life. It's all. So you could say, I like this copy is great. Can you write it with benefits and to someone who fears getting their mother a good Mother's Day gift, or fears not getting their fears get their mother a good Mother's Day gift.
And Andrew,
Yeah,
I love I'm like a chat GPT user every single day as well because it can help you ideate on so many ideas. And as you mentioned, like you can't just put in something once and copy and paste usually, but
yeah,
really working with it and you can get a lot of ideas out and express quickly and you have a sense of like, oh, this is likely to work or this isn't. Let's take this to test. Let's not test this.
yeah, exactly. And then yeah, it even gives like Chat. I thought ChatGPT 3.0 was like okay, you had to give it these like long prompts, but 4 is like really, really good with just giving it basic stuff. Create more of a. And remember, like the reason like we kind of try and tell these short stories, so to speak, is because people remember things through stories. Like generally speaking, like you're looking at your life through a story and like reading it, you remember like stories. You may not remember benefits and specifics, but like you could even, if you start to tell kind of like stories through your ads and through your copy and through your hooks, and the story doesn't have to be like anything crazy, right? It can literally just be like my like I had no idea I was spending like thousands of dollars on eating out. Like, thank goodness I found this biryani, right? It's like you're like, wow, this person's spending thousands of dollars eating out, right? It can be like that simple. So this piece I'll be with the climax and to make it more and memorable. But yeah, you can kind of just keep prompting it like this. And sometimes this might be too much of it. This might be too upper funnel. But like generally speaking, because this isn't talking about the product right away, so you might not get like great people to your site, but at least you can like take this and like you could turn it into ad copy, or you kind of can figure out like maybe this was too far. Maybe I should use this one, and you can keep iterating on it to figure out what you want. And then I wouldn't use all of this copy. Like I definitely wouldn't use, that's why I chose product name. Like people are seeing the product in the video. It's also like redundant and can put people off when people love to be sold, or sorry, yeah, people love to be sold, but they don't like when you're selling to them. And so it's really good to like take product names out. Not pushing your product, too hard to people is great. And then just trying to like hit their pain points. Like your mom's like for Mother's Day, it's like I just came up with this now, Jordan, but it's like your flowers are gonna die in 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
it's like yeah. Like
Okay,
every
with
mom's
something that's gonna
gotten
die.
yeah. Like every mom's gotten flowers for forever. Like get her something that's like really gonna amaze her, right? So that she'll remember. But yeah, all right, I'll stop there real quick and see if we have any like questions in the
Yeah, so we went through
chat
a
too.
lot. Any questions that have come up so far? If not, Andrew, why don't we walk through some of the different design elements that we can begin testing on landing pages? Like once you find a combination that's starting to work, how do you then test out different variations?
Yeah, so it's really easy to just start with the offer, like this basic page, and then we start to like add things to it. So like, let me show you this one. This one's a little better. So you can see like we've made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different above the fold variations with different offers. Obviously, you need like a dev to do this. This is, but like I'll just go over these. So like let's just say you've got your offer nailed down, you've got your, caveman offer page nailed down. Now we'll start to add like different functionality. So like we might have testimonials at the top with like this, with like a big, with a text block, and then we'll go into the offer, right? Or you could start to move things around, right? And actually add things to, like, that's another thing. A lot of people just have like, just show different variations of their product. If you make carousels out of it, it's much more effective. I don't think he has a carousel on here yet, but like, I'm sure you guys have seen sites where, no, these aren't carousels. Okay, that's fine. But like basically like love it or your money back could be one, or you could talk about, you could say big nights shouldn't mean bigger consequences, recover smarter at the top of the photo. You could basically start to add benefits here. Like, the first photo could say 3 times faster recovery. The second photo could say 92% feel better after 1 bottle. And then the third photo could say 88% recommend it. So you can start adding these benefits on your photo. And then like you could add these benefits on the photo right here, down here. But these are different like ways that you can like get people to actually swipe through your product photos while giving them something helpful to learn about the product. And then we'll start to like reconfigure how we're presenting the offer as well, where we might try like 1, 3, and 5, 1, 2, and 4, right? We might try different pack sizes. We might add another one instead of 5. If people are buying the 5, add a 10. Don't let people ever spend less money than they want to, right? And so once somebody buys that 10, like add a 15, right? So like just keep going up until they're not like purchasing. And then where's the other thing? I think it's on here where it shows the drinks. It'll actually show. So we actually will show the product too. I think it's on this one. Yeah. So this is a good one too, like where you're just showing the product here, right? It's like get 1 and you show 1, 2, and then 3. And then, yeah, so it's kind of the same. It's very simple. But once you have these frameworks, it's pretty easy to work within them, right? You just are like, you could literally take, this page to a dev on Upwork and be like, I want you to build this. I'm using koala bundles. Here's the copy. And here's how, like, I want it to look like this, but with my brand guidelines, right? Like you can literally do that. And it's not, I mean, it might cost like $1,000 or something, maybe $2,000 max. It wouldn't cost that much to like start building this. And then once you have it, you can start to do iterations where you're like, yeah, show the product, right? You're showing the product now. You can show like, you can start to show, or you could tell them to like add testimonials, right? Above, like right up here, right? Instead of like the hook, you can have them start to add on, like, that would be a graphic designer, but you could start to have them add on benefits, right, to your page. So that's something where it's pretty easy to iterate on it. Once you have a page, an offer that's working, you're just adding these different components to the page. You're adding that versus content that I showed earlier. You're adding different ways to select, right? Instead of saying lemon, maybe you just show a yellow circle, right? Instead of lemon ginger, maybe it's like a yellow circle split in half with a slightly like brown circle, right? Orange mango could be like orange split in half with what color is a mango? Like a reddish orange kind of, there. So, and then were you going to say something, Jordan?
Yeah, I think all these are really great. And I think it just kind of really hones on the fact that we were talking earlier about there are hundreds of ways, thousands of ways to design landing pages, and sometimes these differences can make a big impact in terms of like how people are using and buying from you.
Yeah.
With all these different variations and trials, how do you recommend someone test out these different design elements where they can get and understand what's actually like working better? There are better ways of like A/B testing these. Do you run them all simultaneously? Do you do one and then the other sequentially? How do you think about testing these?
Yeah. So the great news is with Meta, it's really easy to do. I personally, if you have the budget, run them all at once, run them with your top performing ad to like $500 and spend and see what conversion you get back. If you don't have the budget, like, you know, I, it's not data, but it's a hypothesis. Like go ask your friends which ones they like the best. Like get a couple of mock-ups done, ask your friends what they like the best. And then, I mean, the only like real way to get to like to test it and get data is to run it in an ad. or just put it on your site and see what converts best with the traffic that you have. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have the budget to do that, like just like literally go and like ask your friends, like, hey, I have this, and then I put, my this, little story right here, and then I have my benefits, like, what do you guys like? What layout do you like the most? And we test a lot of layout and copy within that layout because those things matter a lot. Like how optimize your buying experience matters a lot, and then your copy, like specifically like these big headlines, right? The product title matter a lot too, because that's what's going to convince people to buy. But yeah, if you were going to focus on just three things, I know I shared a lot. Honestly, number one would just be like the offer, like get your offer right. Even if we didn't have any of this stuff up here and we just showed an offer right here, it would still increase conversion rate way more than if we had the copy and everything. So offer and incentive is like the number one thing. Like work on this before anything else. And I actually have an offer worksheet I can share with you guys too. So here you go. This is the offer worksheet. And for CPG, most of you guys are in CPG, it's just going to be more at a discount. So if you do one thing from this webinar, this is the only thing I would ask you to do is like double your price and then to anchor and then like give these discounts as people buy more and discount one of these. Like maybe you do one for 39, but two for 49, right? And then four for 110 or something. And make sure that your offer makes no sense. I know that sounds crazy, but like literally like make sure. I think Jordan, you said you just tried an offer where you made the top tier the same as the middle tier, the cost
Yeah.
of the middle tier. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone's buying the top tier, which is essentially what
Yeah.
we wanted and priced that way.
Yeah. So work back from what you want. If you want to sell four for 80, make all of your other pricing guide people to that price, right? If you want to sell two for 49, all of your other pricing should make that like specific choice look really, really good. So it should make people like, if your offer isn't making people think like, why did they price this way? Or if they don't think it's like, if they think it might be a mistake, if it looks very linear, it's going to be wrong. So, but yeah, this is the number one thing. The number two thing is making sure your hook, your headline matches with however you're driving traffic. So whether it's from Meta, affiliate, Google, whatever you're saying in your ad should be on your page. Like if your main pain point is like, that it's like a vegan thing, or it's easier than DoorDash and it costs less, like that should be very prominent on your page. So that's number two. And then I would say number three is like, which we haven't done this with Pluck yet, just like start adding like benefit, like make sure your carousel has like some benefits, because this is where like when you hit the page, your eyes are kind of like they're reading this, they're looking at the product, and they're looking at the price. So we always want to focus on these three areas. So the next best thing you can do is just add some benefits to the carousel, basically. So, and we actually did do it with Pluck. We have it hidden now, but like this is a great example of like even a good test for Pluck would be to like add this first, right? Add this as the first portion of the carousel. So
I love this. Andrew, have you heard of there's like a parable of the old man selling watermelons?
no, what is it?
It basically represents this. So it's, an old man is selling watermelons and he has a price list that reads one watermelon for $3 or three watermelons for $10. And a young
Yeah.
man stops by and asks to buy one watermelon. He says, all right, that'll be $3. Then he asks to buy another one and another one, paying $3 each. And as the young man's walking away, he turns around and grins and says, hey, old man, do you realize I just brought three watermelons for only $9? Maybe business is not your thing. The old man smiles and mumbles to himself, every time they buy three watermelons instead of one, yet they keep trying to teach me how to do business.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in that parable, for sure.
And that's exactly what I think about, because yeah, people are like, oh yeah, normally I buy one, but it's such a great deal to buy the better bundle, because they're not comparing you then with other watermelons down the street or at the store. It's only about that deal. And they feel like they're getting a deal. So absolutely love this. So make people feel like they're getting an even better deal and getting a steal from it, and they'll be likely to buy in that moment too.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
Perfect.
exciting.
Well, Andrew, I think we're going to wrap up here. Any last final thoughts or words of advice?
No, I think, of course, I'm going to pitch myself here. If you guys, obviously, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of things to do. Yeah, if you're wanting someone to do it for you, let me know. Like, send me an email. I can drop my email in the chat. But and just so you know, this, like, if you are not in a good place to spend money, go and do something organic first, right? Go and go to trade shows, go to like farmers market, go do something else first. But if you're in a good place to spend money, or you just want to like get this figured out, well, we would be a really good fit for you. We can either build the landing page or build pages plus run the ads, do all the testing, figure out what's converting for your brand. But yeah, I will leave with that as like, if you're just starting out and you're not sure how to sell yet, or you're trying to figure things out, definitely go do something else, work with Influent, go product seed, go to a trade show, go to a farmer's market, wherever you think you could sell your product, go do that first. And then, yeah, once you have a little bit of like money and revenue, ads are going to be what could take you from 500K or 1 million to 10 million. So
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. And we'll put in the show notes as well, if you want to work with Andrew and his team, definitely, reach out to him directly, reach out through me. Like I mentioned, I'm working with them to design and build out our Mother's Day ads that we're running right now. And so have firsthand experience of working with them. You can always reach out to me and get that feedback directly. But Andrew, thanks so much for walking through everything. It is so detailed, and I love all the tidbits that people can take away immediately and implement into their business. So really appreciate it.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining.